We've been looking at the four different types of economies: competition, command, custom, and cooperation. Well, we live in a competitive economy. So what we want to do is dive deeper into what does it mean to be a competitive economy? What are the assumptions that we need to make in order to be in that competitive economy? And in fact, the entire semester of microeconomics is actually looking at competitive economies and how they work. We spend the first part of the semester looking at the purely competitive economy with no government intervention. And then we talk about market failures and why we are not a purely competitive economy and why the government gets involved in our economy. So let's look at what does it mean to be a competitive economy. And if you watch the clip Capitalism, a Love Story from Michael Moore, right? He talks about the devastation that happens in a capitalist society. Now, capitalism is defined as a competition economy and a democratic political system. And in the video, he's talking about how capitalism is evil. Okay, well, why is it perceived as being evil, greedy? Well, because we have examples like this. This is after Hurricane Katrina. And after Hurricane Katrina, there was a lot of flooding, particularly in poor areas of New Orleans. In fact, if you live in New Orleans, which my parents did at the time, you're basically told to keep an axe in your attic because as the flood levels rise, and they are prone for flooding because they're built on a swamp, you keep an axe in your attic because as the waters rise, you have to climb into your attic and then you need a way to get out. And in fact, in the Michael Moore video, you can see holes in people's roofs where they've done just that. The water gets so high, they have to break through the roof in order to get out. Well, the point that Michael Moore is making in his Capitalism, a Love Story video is that it's corruption and greed that has led to great income inequality, and in this case, in the US. So if capitalism is evil, and it's become such a bad word, the word capitalism means profit-driven. It's become such a bad word that in US textbooks, they actually don't use the word capitalism, they use the word democracy. But it's important here to note the word capitalism is a combination of a competition economy and a democratic political system. So we want to explore some more is why do people think that the competition economy is evil, profit-driven, greedy, and is it so bad that if it is profit-driven, what does that mean? How does the competitive economy function? So the other thing we have to consider at the same time we see videos about the evil of competition economies is that we also have many countries that strive to be more competitive economies. We saw a number of years ago the Arab Spring, where Libya, Tunisia, and Egypt, people protesting, rioting to try to have more democratic political system and more competitive-based economy. So that's the question of the day. Is a competition economy evil? Well, in a competition economy, the powers of supply and demand determine who gets what and who does what. So you can see in this cartoon clip here, it says this company has been bitch slapped by the invisible hand of the marketplace. So in a competitive economy, if there's not demand, if customers don't want your product, then you're not going to sell it, you're going to go out of business. Okay? You also will not stay in business if it's not profitable to do so, so you have to look at supply, that is the cost to make it, and their productivity. So the competition economy is really driven by competition and self-interest. So this invisible hand is what's guiding the economy. Self-interest, right? We decide to open a business to make money because it's our passion. So we do things in our own self-interest, okay, that offers the goods. And then it's competition, the fact that other people are competing with us to offer the same goods, that keeps prices down so customers have access. So it's competition and self-interest that guide the economy. It is supply and demand who determine who gets what and who does what. Now, the idea of the invisible hand, that term, actually comes from a guy named Adam Smith, and he wrote this book. It's so big it comes in 2 parts. It's called An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. And so this book here talks about how a competitive economy should function. And this book was written by Adam Smith in 1776. Adam Smith is the father of economics. So it is his work that this course is based on, and the reason that you take it in school. According to Adam Smith, it is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we can expect our dinner. So we don't just go to work out of interest for greater humanity, right? We do it because we want to make money at a job. We want to be fulfilled by doing something we're passionate about. And then we use that money to buy goods and services from others in order to feed our family, make them happy, to be successful, and it continues on. So we all act in our own self-interest, and it is self-interest that is driving our society. And that's why a competitive economy gets a bad reputation, because we're all acting in our own self-interest. We're all a bunch of greedy jerks. So we want to look at, what does it mean to act in our own self-interest, and is that so bad?